Hi, I'm Austin,
I'm Alex,
and you were listening to One Last Breath, an autopsy of awful albums.
where we discuss controversial, bizarre, divisive, and downright abysmal albums. Today we're talking about Green Day's 13th studio album, Father of All, also known as Father of All Motherfuckers.
You don't need that many albums.
Eh,
They stopped at like 10.
I mean, for Green Day's
They
sake,
should have stopped at 12, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Released in February of 2020. This album, it was a change from the American Idiot-esque approach the band took with 2016's Revolution Radio after the 2012's Uno trilogy, which, we'll get to it later, but kind of overstayed its welcome.
It was 3 albums in, the course of a year?
In the course of 4 months.
That's too much. It's ridiculous.
We'll get to it. But in fact, Father of All was a return to the garage rock style the band explored on the second entry of the Uno trilogy, Dose, as well as their side project, Foxborough Hot Tubs. Before the albums...
What a band name.
You never heard of that?
No.
You never heard of Foxborough Hot Tubs?
No. What a fucking band name.
I was about to say they only had one out. I mean, it's literally just all the members of Green Day.
It's just Green Day. It's like just... Creed. It's like the Creed album that's not Creed. What is that band?
Alter Bridge?
Alter Bridge, where it's just Creed without Scott Stapp.
Yeah, but I mean, this is literally just fucking Green Day. Like, it's no different members.
Well, it's because they don't have Scott Stapp.
Yeah, it would be interesting on that. But yeah, I think they did have just one album for a long time. I think came out in like 2008, but then I think 2 or 3 years ago they released a second album. So
okay.
It's been a while since I've heard anything. You know, it's pretty decent, but yeah, it was kind of a garage rock style.
Okay.
Before the album's release, lead singer and guitarist Billy Joe Armstrong said the band wanted to make sort of an old-timey rock and roll record that traces the history of rock and roll. He stated that the album was inspired by glam rock acts such as T-Rex or Mott the Hoople to Martha and the Vandellas, and also some garage rock. Father of All feels like it's somewhere between Prince and MC5. I wouldn't say that's a very accurate assessment.
If you are somebody who is not a fan of Prince or MC5, sure. If you have never listened to Prince or MC5 in your life, yeah, it's somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, if you just kind of have heard the names, but not really
listened to them. Father of All is it's a longer name than Prince and MC5, and it makes more sense than MC5 and less sense than Prince, so it's right there in the middle.
The change in style was met with mixed to negative reviews from critics, but the fan response was and remains overwhelmingly negative, with many fans questioning the decision to harken back to an older rock style, the juvenile lyrical content, the cringe-inducing album promotion, which I don't know if you've seen any of that, but later on we'll get to that, and especially the artwork, which butchers the iconic American Idiot cover art.
Is that what that's supposed to be?
What do you mean? Wait, it literally has the heart like a hand grenade. It's
Sorry,
fucking...
I haven't looked at it.
You haven't
looked
at
close.
It? Yeah, it's literally just the heart but it's like zoomed in to where you can't see the hand grenade.
God.
It's just the arm, and then it says where the unicorn is. That says motherfuckers. So that's like the censored version of it.
I see it. It just looked like.
I
just thought it was a unicorn with like a weird white stripe. It was like
I could see that.
They're trying to be the white stripe.
Yeah, because I mean you can barely see the heart. Yeah. The hand grenade heart, it's just like the bottom of it and the blood trails going down. So
okay, that's terrible.
It looks like a shitty.
That's fucking awful.
It looks like fucking 2000s internet clip art.
That's a graphic design is my passion ass album cover.
Yeah, so that was a big still is a big meme on the Green Day subreddit. Okay, so formed in 1987 as Sweet Children by lead vocalist and guitarist Billy Joe Armstrong, bassist Mike Dirnt, and drummer John Kiffmeyer. Green Day has never been a stranger to controversy, which changes in style and bold career choices often turning away fans. The band emerged from the blooming Bay Area punk scene in California, becoming regular performers at 924 Gilman Street, a popular punk venue in Berkeley. In 1988, Larry Livermore, owner of an indie record label, Lookout Records, signed the band to his label, and in April of 1989, they released their first EP entitled 1,000 Hours. Shortly before they dropped the EP, they changed their name to Green Day to avoid confusion with fellow local band Sweet Baby. The band chose the new name because of their love for smoking marijuana.
Did Sweet Baby ever go anywhere?
No, I looked, which I didn't even, I mean, I knew that their name was Sweet Children because, as we'll get to, Green Day is like my favorite band of all time. Yeah. I have a fucking Green Day tattoo on my leg. But I I didn't know that that's why they changed their name, but I looked at the band's Wikipedia page. I think they just had 1 or 2 albums.
But they did, like, release studio albums?
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to some Sweet Baby.
Yeah, and it actually had really good reviews.
I am a barbecue sauce fan, so I'm all for it.
Sweet Baby Ray's. Yeah, Sweet Baby Ray's origin story was in 924 Gilman Street.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But, yeah, Green Day released their debut album, 39 Smooth, in 1990, as well as 2 EPs, Slappy and Sweet Children. In 1990, John Kiffmeyer left the band to attend college, so the band recruited drummer Trey Cool, who was playing in Larry Livermore's aptly titled band, The Lookouts. Lookout Records,
Okay.
The Lookouts.
Yeah. Was it like a record label supergroup, kind of, or just...
It was literally fucking the Larry Livermore, and then Trey Cool, and then... I don't know who the other 1 or 2 people were. I don't know if it was a 3 or 4 piece.
Weird.
But I think that they were... Because Trey Cool was only, like, 16 or something, and
Yeah.
Larry Livermore was in, like, his 30s. So it was just this 30-year-old dude.
The late 80s, early 90s. It seems about right.
Yeah, this 30-year-old dude was just like, oh, yeah, let me find these little teenagers, and we'll just do this punk band that is named after my record label.
You just gotta play music with who you want to. And also, if some 30-year-old's like, hey, I have a record label, you want to play in my band? You say yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they had a couple of albums as well. But a year later, in 1991, Lookout Records released a compilation album containing the debut album 39 Smooth, as well as the EPs 1,000 Hours and Slappy, titled 1,039 Smooth Out Slappy Hours.
Okay.
Yeah, did you think that was just their first album?
No, I haven't looked at that at all. I haven't listened to anything pre, like, their 92 album.
Kerplunk?
Yeah, I think Kerplunk's the earliest I've listened to from them.
Okay.
Just because I like Green Day. I don't get that big into pop punk from that era much. I'm more of the 2010s generic pop punk shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I love the 1,039 Smooth Out Slappy Hours. You should check it out.
It's a name.
I mean, it's pretty much Kerplunk, but less polished. I mean, because they were even younger.
Yeah.
So.
And Kerplunk's a good album.
Yeah, Kerplunk's really good. And then later the same year, they released Kerplunk in 1992. But by this point, the band had gained such fame in the local punk scene that Kerplunk sold over 10,000 copies in its first day, which is fucking insane for an indie band.
Yeah, a punk band in 1992 when like grunge was still grunging.
Yeah, still grunging. The band went on tour, and eventually the sales of the album climbed over to 50,000 copies, and now that number has reached over 1 million, making the album certified platinum.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's one of the best indie records, like indie label records ever, like best-selling indie.
Probably, I would say the only bands that would do better is probably like, Dinosaur Jr. and Tegan and Sarah?
Maybe, I don't know if, I haven't looked into much of... because I feel like indie's kind of a genre that...
It's not really a genre.
Yeah, it can encompass... I mean, people call stuff indie. That's on major labels.
Yeah,
it's kind
because
of
they have the indie sound.
Yeah, I think...
Either way.
I know that Smash by the Offspring is, I'm pretty sure, the highest selling indie record of all time.
Oh, that's surprising. Like, Smash is a really good album.
Yeah, I love Smash.
Would not call it the best selling indie... Like, if I didn't know, I wouldn't have quite, seen that.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's definitely up there. But, yeah, so... Realizing that the rapid success of the album was too much for Lookout Records to handle, the band signed to Reprise Records. This move to a major label caused the first of many controversial moments for the band, as the East Bay scene saw it as a betrayal of everything the scene stood for and accused the band of selling out, as one of the rules of Gilman Street was no major label bands. Green Day put on one last performance at Gilman Street in September of '93 under the pseudonym Blair Hess before being permanently banned. So yeah, it's not a popular move to sell out for sure. So
yeah,
so that was the first of many many trajectories Green Day's career took. And their major label debut album, Dookie, came out in February of 1994. Although it sold slowly at first with only 9,000 copies within the first week, it eventually became a smash hit, peaking at number 2 on Billboard 200. Eventually obtaining diamond status and receiving critical acclaim, winning a Grammy for Best Alternative Album, and has gone on to become considered one of the greatest pop punk, alternative, and just albums in general of all time.
Yeah, it's a really important album.
Yeah, it remains the band's best-selling album. But
really, I would have given that to American Idiot.
No, surprisingly. Yeah. Wow. Dookie's still, I guess it has longevity on it. 10 extra years of longevity.
That is true. It has about 10, it does have exactly 10 more years.
Yeah, classic, iconic album. The band's next album, which is my personal favorite album by them, released in October of 1995, Insomniac, was written as a reaction to all the early fans of the band that were angry of Green Day's move to a major label. It was darker, faster, more abrasive, cynical compared to Dookie, which, you know, kind of more of an upbeat pop punk album. This leaned more towards a hardcore punk sound.
Yeah.
I mean, it received positive reviews, and it peaked on number 2 on Billboard and became certified 2 times platinum, but it didn't maintain the sales endurance of Dookie. It also furthered their unstable fan base because, you know, you had the old fans that thought they were sellouts that weren't on their side anymore. Then they gained a whole bunch of new fans from Dookie, and then these new fans that they gained from Dookie kind of were expecting a part 2 of Dookie.
Yeah, and they got something completely different.
Yeah, so, you know, it was, like I said, it was heavier, more abrasive. I mean, I think it's as catchy as Dookie, but...
Yeah, it's a really good album.
Yeah, it's a great album, but... You know,
I could understand being like, ugh.
Especially, you know,
I wanted something different.
Yeah, like they gained a huge influx of middle school and high school fans, I would imagine, from that shit being played on the radio all the time. So yeah, it's definitely threw some people off, and it kind of started their downward trajectory that they went on for a while of you know, kind of falling away from the spotlight. And the band's next 2 albums, Nimrod, released in October of 1997, and Warning, released in October of 2000, continued the downward trend of their popularity, with Nimrod peaking at number 10 on Billboard, being certified double platinum. And then Warning, it peaked a bit higher at number 4, but it was the band's first major label release to fail to achieve at least double platinum status, only reaching gold.
Wow.
Which is a pretty stark departure. You know, you have 3 albums in a row that are double platinum at least, and then you only get gold. That's a pretty big departure. I mean, again, 2 great albums. I love both of those albums. Yeah. I think especially Warning is a really underrated album.
I think Warning might be one of their best albums.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, it's very hard for me to...
Really, everything pre-21st Century Breakdown is one of their best albums.
Yeah,
the 21st Century Breakdown still...
yeah.
We'll get to it.
It's good.
It's still an okay album.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd say my top 3 are probably Nimrod, Insomniac, and Dookie, but Warning isn't that far off. But the 2 releases, they added tons of stylistic changes. Can you pause it? Yeah. The 2 releases added tons of stylistic changes into the band's sound, with Nimrod generally being an alternative rock, pop-punk album, but having elements of folk, ska, surf rock, and even hardcore to the band's pop-punk formula, with harmonica, violin, horns, and string sections being found within the album. So it's a pretty versatile album.
Yeah.
It also featured the band's most commercially successful single to date, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life.
Which is everywhere.
Yeah.
Graduations,
proms,
funerals.
Yeah. It was featured on the second to last episode of Seinfeld as the background music to a clip montage.
Huh.
So, yeah, that song was everywhere, still is everywhere. And I mean, that also probably furthered, you know, their divisive fan base.
Yeah, this is very like, oh, look at these sellouts.
Yeah.
They're making money.
Yeah, losing credibility. They made it, which the song was written, I think, before Dookie, if you didn't know that. I think it was written, because there's a demo of it that was from 93 or something like that. I don't know if it was intended to be on Dookie, but it was written in the, you know, between Kerplunk and Dookie eras, somewhere around there. And then Warning, which found the band at their least commercially successful state, is essentially a folk punk album containing the least personal songs the band had to date, with a lot of the material being political and social commentary.
Yeah, like I think Minority is probably the most well-known song from this album.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a good fucking song.
Yeah, it's a great song. Though both albums were well received critically, this commercial slump found the band struggling to find their place in the eye of the public as punk rock was out of the mainstream with the rise of nu metal. So, you know, all those early 90s pop punk bands that blew up were kind of...
I'm going to say it. They should have just asked Fred Durst to join the band.
Fred Durst and Green Day?
Fred Durst and... Don't act like you would not listen to that.
Durst Day.
Yeah.
Durst Day.
Fred Green.
Fred Day. It's National Fred Day, guys. You need to pause it. In 2003, the band finished recording material for a new album with the title Cigarettes and Valentines. However, the master tapes were stolen from the studio, and Green Day decided to start from scratch and ended up writing American Idiot, which, probably was a blessing in disguise.
Did they ever find those master tapes?
Yeah, it said that in like 2014 or 15, it said that they found most of them, and they said that they were planning on doing something with. They ended up releasing Cigarettes and Valentines. I don't know.
Did they?
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was a few years back.
Okay, let me get Off of Saliva. Is it on Spotify?
It's a pretty. If I remember correctly, it's a pretty good song. There's actually kind of a, I guess, urban legend that's a farce. That whole story was just them. I don't know why people would think that they would lie about that. I guess to make it seem like, oh, they struck inspiration because they got their shit stolen. I don't know. Yeah,
that seems like a dumb thing to lie about.
Yeah, I don't really know why it's a thing, but people are like, oh, were the master tapes really stolen, or did they just, it was shit, so they just abandoned it? But either way, I mean...
No, it'd be cooler if you were just like, oh yeah, we just wrote this really sick album about hating Bush.
Yeah. I mean, either way,
you don't need a cool story around it. It was 2004.
Yeah.
Everybody hated Bush.
Yeah, the fucking Rock Against Bush albums. You ever seen those?
Yeah.
With Rise Against and shit on it?
Rise Against really hates Bush.
Yeah. But yeah, so released in September of 2004, this proved to be the right move as the album breathed life into the band, becoming by far their biggest success since Dookie, becoming their first album to peak at number 1 on Billboard. Became 6 times platinum, winning a Grammy for Rock Album of the Year. Style-wise, it sort of returned to the band's punk roots, adding kind of a classic rock opera feel,
yeah, it is
like
very,
grandiose feel.
Very rock opera. I mean, there was that American Idiot musical that we got to go see.
Yeah, we saw that.
It was really cool.
It was pretty sick, actually. Yeah, there was at some point a rumor that they were going to make a movie of it, and
I wish they would. I know there is I believe there's one official recording that was released, and it was on.
Official recording.
It was either a recording of the American Idiot musical. It was either an official recording or a documentary about it that was on Netflix at one point.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I think there is like I don't know if it's on Spotify, but I think you can listen to the.
I'd like to watch a video of it. Yeah, it's just like, hey, if anybody has a shitty cell phone recording of that musical, please email it to us.
Yeah, at onelastbreathpod@gmail.com. Email it.
We will cover the musical if you do.
We will cover the musical. I don't know if that qualifies. Maybe on a bonus episode.
Special episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have a sub podcast where we talk about
about musicals.
Yeah, just musicals. Yeah, I've only watched about 3 in my life, but somewhere to start. But yeah, so big return of form to the band. Like a rock opera. Some of the songs multi-part, overarching story.
What most people think of when they think of Green Day, honestly.
Now, yeah. I mean, I feel like most people about our age or younger.
It's like, you're just
if you're just a casual Green Day fan. I mean, I guess maybe casual fan of music. I mean, growing up in the early 2000s, this shit was on the radio everywhere. Like, everybody knows Wake Me Up When September Ends, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, American Idiot, title track.
Probably about half the songs on the album, have life outside of the album.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I heard Green Day, I'm pretty sure, was in Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, because Holiday's on there. Yeah. And I fucking love that game. Like, maybe it's probably one of my most controversial gaming opinions. Like, that's by far my favorite Tony Hawk game.
Thug 2.
I don't care if people say that's where the quality started dropping off. I don't know. Like, the soundtrack's just fucking awesome.
The soundtracks are always awesome in Tony Hawk.
Yeah, but I feel like that one especially. Like, it had MCR covering Astro Zombies, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or maybe Teenagers from Mars. One of those two Misfit songs. Since It's Fail covered an old punk song. Can't remember what it was. Fall Out Boy covered Start Today by Gorilla Biscuits. Mm-hmm. Like, I had a bunch of newer pop punk bands.
It was really cool.
Yeah, and then I had a bunch of, like, I mean, the classic Tony Hawk, like, really old punk songs and shit. Like, obviously Tony Hawk soundtracks were an important part of a lot of people's lives for getting into punk and metal. But that one especially, like, when I heard Holiday, I was like, what the fuck is this? And of course that was maybe, I guess, about a year after American Idiot came out was when that game. I think it came out in 05.
05, maybe early 06.
Maybe. So not too long after, and I mean, I think I had heard Boulevard of Broken Dreams, the bigger songs on the album. But after I heard that, I was like, I need more, and I had my brother download the whole album off of LimeWire. That just kind of took my fucking love for Green Day to the next level, and I got into all this shit. But so yeah, the lyrics take influence from Warning, kind of, the political, but turn it up a notch, telling a coming of age story, and at the time the current state of America. The album has gone on, like Dookie, to be considered a classic and one of the greatest albums of all time in many regards. In May of 2009, 21st Century Breakdown was released, sort of continuing the groundwork that American Idiot laid, telling another political themed story through a rock opera. The album reached number 1 on Billboard, which was kind of surprising to me. I was like, I don't remember it being that big.
I do remember my mom used to always, every morning, around this time, she was going to school for, I don't remember what.
Some nursing or something.
I think it was medical coding.
Yeah.
Maybe. But she was, every morning when I was looking for school, she'd have the VH1 music videos on. And I remember specifically the music video for...
21 Guns?
21 Guns.
Yeah.
Was always on there every morning.
Yeah, that was a big song. I'd say...
but the rest of the album, I mean,
there was...
Know Your Enemy.
Yeah, Know Your Enemy was pretty big.
Viva La Gloria.
Yeah, I think that was a single, but I'd say really the only 2 hits were 21 Guns and Know Your Enemy, in terms of, being all over the radio.
And they were also the most American Idiot songs on the album, from what I remember.
Yeah, maybe, but...
It's been a while since I've listened to this album,
But yeah, it's, that was surprising to me. I mean, I knew it was big, and obviously the hype of American Idiot would make anybody want to check out the next.
A 5-year gap would lower some of it, but I guess not, because American Idiot was... huge hit. So people were like, oh, more Green Day?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, and it went on to be certified platinum. Although not receiving the critical praise of its predecessor, it got generally favorable reviews. For some reason, I wrote that it reached number 1 on Billboard and became platinum twice in this paragraph.
It's just that important.
It's that important.
You were that surprised.
Yeah, I was shook. But it won a Grammy for Rock Album of the Year, so that's fucking 3 of their albums that have won a Grammy for Album of the Year. And then at the end of 2012, the band released a trilogy of albums, with Uno coming out in September, Destined coming out in November, and Trey coming out in December. So you got Green Day for 3 out of 4 months to end 2012.
As much as I think these albums are kind of mid, I like Trey. I like Trey a lot, actually.
Okay.
But the joke of Uno Dos Tre, I understand why they did it.
Yeah.
It's too powerful to not make that joke. But I think overall they're kind of mid albums.
Yeah, I mean,
Ex-Kid is an incredible song.
I mean, when they came out, it was pretty much like the height of my Green Day obsession was probably 2011 to like 2013, 14 was like when I was at the height of being obsessed with them. And when these came out, I remember at first liking them a lot, but then over time, I was just kind of like, eh. I haven't really listened to it much since then, but when we were listening to Father of All to prepare for this, I decided to go back and listen to all of them, and listen to Revolution Radio to kind of freshen my thoughts, because, 21st Century and everything before I have listened to so much, I could fucking play the entire album of all those in my head front to back. Like I've just listened to those so much in my life. But I have to say the trilogy isn't as bad as I remember. Like I was expecting to like it even less.
I think they're mid albums, but a mid album from Green Day is still one of the best pop punk albums ever written. Yeah,
like I would say, I mean, a lot of people say Trey is their favorite, but Uno is my favorite, honestly.
I think it's really just the hype of Ex-Kid, because Ex-Kid made some rounds on Tumblr.
Yeah, it did.
And also in the Rocksmith community.
Oh yeah, I remember it being on Rocksmith.
That Ex-Kid was, I believe, one of the official DLCs that they released. Yeah. So it made a little bit of rounds in that community, which probably made people be like, oh, I've played this on my guitar 1,000 times. I might as well listen to Trey.
Yeah. But yeah, Uno is probably I feel like my liking of them goes down with each album. Like, I like Uno the best, then Dos, then Trey.
Okay, I'll have to give Uno and Dos another shot then.
But, I mean, the trilogy, it takes a step back from the bigger scope rock opera of American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown to showcase a simpler pop-punk style reminiscent of Dookie or Nimrod with slight differences in style between the albums. You know, Uno leans more power pop, Dos garage rock, Trey kind of stadium rock-esque.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, I feel like if you take the best songs from all three, like, you would have a pretty fucking
they could
great
probably
album.
have made a really good album, but they were just like, we'll just do 3 pretty mid albums.
Yeah, because Uno, I really love the very beginning, and then it kind of, I wouldn't say it gets awful, but it starts to get kind of too similar towards the end.
What I probably thought, I don't know if this is true, but like it would seem to make sense if like all of Uno was written by Billy Joe. All of Dos was written by Mike Dirnt. All of Trey was written by Trey Cool, but I doubt that's true.
Yeah, that would make sense, but I think Billy wrote probably most.
Probably all. I think he's the main songwriter.
Yeah. Mike's wrote a few songs, I think.
And then Trey wrote some funny songs.
Yeah, All by Myself. Yeah. Nominated Love Slave.
Yeah. We need a Trey solo album.
I think he wrote the part on Homecoming that he sings. You know, I got our rock and roll band.
Yeah.
I got our rock. You know that part.
He does have a rock and roll band.
Yeah, I think he wrote that part.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Billy Joe Armstrong likened the albums to the process of partying, saying Uno is getting ready to party, Dos is being at the party, and Trey is cleaning up the mess.
I don't know that I would call Stadium Rock cleaning up the mess. Stadium Rock feels like the part of the party where you accidentally, like, someone was just like, hey, I have Molly, and you were like, I wasn't planning on doing Molly,
but fuck it.
And then you're like, why the fuck did I just do Molly? I have to work in 3 hours.
Yeah. The trilogy was mixed to positively received by critics and fans, with Dos actually having the highest average score among critics, which is really surprising because among the community of Green Day fans, Dos is definitely the one that gets the most shit.
Okay.
I think because of Fuck Time.
Wait, there's a song called Fuck Time?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's a pretty decent song. I mean, the lyrics are pretty cringe.
Okay, I'm looking at these song titles, and they're not the worst Green Day song titles, but Lazy Bones.
That's a good song. You probably know that one. I think it was in it was in Rocksmith.
But the name of it,
yeah,
Lazy Bones, it makes me think of that one King of the Hill episode.
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of Stray Heart, not Lazy Bones.
But it makes me think of that one King of the Hill episode where the neighbors move in with the bratty kid, and he starts calling Hank Hill's dusty old bones full of green dust.
Yeah, that kid was a menace.
Catchy nickname.
It makes me think of that fucking TikTok trend now where it's making fun of the people that are like, oh, I push 80 hours a week. And it's like, you got soft hands, boy. Soft hands, brother. Like, that's what, you got lazy bones, boy. But yeah, so that's kind of surprising to me because among the fans, Dos is definitely the one that gets shit on the most and Trey's the one that receives the most praise. But I think Trey actually had the lowest average score among critics. But I mean, with
in the punk scene, critics and fan reception is usually pretty opposite.
Yeah, and plus with a trilogy of albums released that close together, I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to gauge it because you know, you have people that would be burnt out by Trey, which I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard for whenever you have that many albums in a short span to have a general consensus between critics and fans.
Yeah, because I mean, it's probably the same critic. Because like usually there's like a couple critics for each like genre in big publications. So like it'd be the same critics covering all 3 albums.
Yeah.
And I would get burnt out as a fan, but if I had to do a whole write-up on this, I'd be like, holy fuck. Like, if I had to do all 3 of these albums this week, the notes would get progressively worse as it went along.
Yeah, I was thinking whenever we first started this podcast and we're coming up with our first episode ideas, I thought of doing the Uno trilogy just because I knew it more than Father of All, because I had only listened to Father of All once, and I was like, wait, I don't know if I really want to have to go over fucking 50-something songs or whatever.
Let's see, that's
I mean, maybe not 50, probably more like 30-something songs, but fucking still.
That's like, each album is, so Trey and Uno are both about 45 minutes. So that's an hour and a half. And then you have another 32 minutes from Dos. That's 2 hours of music that we would have to listen to multiple times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Too much.
But yeah, many felt that there was too much filler. A few really questionable songs, mainly Fuck Time, just lyric-wise. And then Nightlife, if you remember that one. That was the one that
Yeah.
had the rap in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Kill the DJ, people were kind of iffy on.
Another random thought with your filler thing. I really hope that a single critic made the point to call this album "No Killer, All Filler."
No killer, all filler.
Because I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, but yeah, general consensus between fans at least was a great album could have been made by taking the best tracks from the three. So, I mean, I'd agree with that. Like I said, I mean, there's some really good songs. I mean, especially for me on Uno and Dos, like there's some, I would say, top shelf Green Day songs like Let Yourself Go is a banger. I like Stay the Night, Nuclear Family.
Family is good.
Stop When the Red Lights Flash on Dos. X-Kid. You know, there's some really great songs.
There's some good songs.
All of them,
It should have been one album.
Yeah. Side note, I remember when Oh Love was the first single from Uno to be released. And I remember it was in 2012 and I was in 7th grade, I think. And I was in art class and our teacher would play music while we worked on our art. And I remember it came on and so many kids in the class were clowning it for some reason, and I was like in my corner sad. I was like, they're making fun of my favorite band. How do I cope from this? And then Gangnam Style came on and everyone proceeded to be like, oh shit.
Truly the most oppressed kid in art class.
Yeah, I was so oppressed. They didn't like the Uno trilogy. Yeah, Uno debuted at number 2 on Billboard. Dos debuted at number 9, but it became the first major label album by the band to not sell at least 100,000 copies in its first week, only selling around 69,000. Nice. Fuck time. I feel like that's pretty apt.
That's pretty apt for Green Day.
Yeah, and for that album to have a song called Fuck Time and it sells 69,000. And then Trey debuted at number 13 and set a new first week sales low by the band at around 58,000 copies. So I mean, yeah, people were kind of like,
yeah, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, so starting with the trilogy, fans of the band, at least the hardcore fans, have begun to feel like the band was kind of running out of steam and just phoning it in, you know. And then Revolution Radio came out in October of 2016, featuring a more focused effort than the trilogy. Though not a rock opera like American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown, its main focus was still political commentary revolving around the state of America at the time. It debuted at number 1 on Billboard, receiving positive reviews from critics, and even ended up on a few end-of-year lists by publications including Rolling Stone. After the release, the fans were pretty hyped, viewing it as a return to form and looking forward to what the band had to bring to the table in the future, which was not a good preview of that, but I don't know. It's when like I said, I listened to the trilogy and Revolution Radio after listening to The Father of All a few times. And I didn't like Revolution Radio as much as I did when it came out. Like, I was with the fans when it came out. I was like, oh shit, like, this is really fucking... I mean, it's still a decent album, but...
I haven't actually listened to Revolution Radio, except I think I've heard Youngblood.
You've probably heard Bang Bang. That was the main single from it. That's a really good song. It's a really fast-paced, pretty...
After 21st Century Breakdown, I just stopped caring about...
Yeah.
I was getting into more, like I said, the generic pop punk. I stopped caring about these old heads.
Yeah. But, yeah, I was surprised, because whenever Revolution Radio came out, I bumped that shit all the time. Like, I was... You know, it sparked my interest in Green Day, I guess, again. Like, a lot of fans, I was like, oh shit, they're back on it. Like, Uno Trilogy was just kind of a departure that we're stepping away from. But I have to say, I guess I would take Uno, my favorite in the trilogy, I would listen to it over Revolution Radio, I'm not gonna lie, which is surprising for me to say. But I mean, still not a bad album, but it just doesn't hold up as much for me personally. But now we get to the subject at hand.
After 30 minutes.
Yeah. Father of All, released in February of 2020, debuting at number 4 on
February
Billboard.
what?
Huh?
February what?
Like what day?
What day?
I don't know. I didn't write down the specific days. How come?
Swear to God, if it's on my birthday...
Oh, shit!
I might end it.
Oh, shit.
That's my 13th reason.
Yeah, check into that. But yeah, debuting at number 4 on the Billboard was really surprising to me.
Your debuted at number 4?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. It was 20 days before my birthday. We're
okay,
good.
that's good. The album, as mentioned earlier, is an attempt, I would say, at simplistic garage rock style with traces of glam rock, kind of just a whisper of the pop punk Green Day is known for.
It's an attempt at being the White Stripes.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
It's an attempt at being a lot of bands, and we'll get into that when we get to the track by track.
The reviews of the album were pretty mixed, mostly leaning negative. Everything about Father of All Motherfuckers is lazy, states in... I wrote this weird. I said states in a 1.5 star review. Somebody stated that in a 1.5 star review for Sputnik Music. Forgot to credit them for that. It begins with the self-referential American Idiot album cover, which features a unicorn exhaling/vomiting rainbows whilst forcefully blowing flames out of its ass. The music is befitting...
I thought that was its tail.
I did
not pay very good attention to the album cover. I was too busy... I just didn't want to look at it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
The music is befitting of said artwork, as even the staunchest fan would have an aneurysm trying to figure out what the hell the guys were thinking on this one. So, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty accurate review. Jordan Blum from Pop Matters said in a 5 out of 10 review, Green Day retained their performance chops on Father of All, so the issue isn't that their playing or singing has gotten weaker. They've lost none of their enthusiasm or technical skills. What they've lost, though, is virtually any sense of originality, intrigue, or pertinence. It doesn't appear like they have anything left to say, or any new way to say it, so they rely on sounds and sentiments that became old hat long ago. Another fair assessment.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about this album, it sounds like it was released in 2006.
Yeah.
And not in a cool, like, nostalgic way.
Yeah.
In a, we had 1,000 of these albums by 10,000 different bands. I don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, you'll agree with this review then. This is probably my favorite assessment of the album by Anthony Fantano of The Needle Drop. I watched his, which I'd seen it before.
Oh, Bald Man Bad.
Bald Man Bad. Melon.
Sorry, I just love those memes.
Yeah, Melon. I don't agree with Fantano on a lot of things.
I don't agree with Fantano on most things.
But I think you'll agree with him on this. He said he gave the album a strong 0 to light 1.
Oh, I didn't know you could do a 0.
Yeah, pointing out this is everything that made Jet, the Moon Suzukis, and the Vines bad. This is the reason we stopped listening to these groups. This is everything Green Day wasn't doing during that same era of time, and now less than 20 years down the road, they're literally just doing it. Which is essentially what you were saying. It's like...
I would take Get Free. I would take an album of 12 identical versions of Get Free.
Or Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
Over a single song off this album.
Yeah, I would too.
I would listen to Get Free and Are You Gonna Be My Girl on repeat for 24 hours before I would listen to anything off this album.
I agree. Where was I at? Oh, yeah. But... there were a surprising amount of positive reviews.
Why?
Yeah, why? I don't know. But...
were they all done by Helen Keller? Sorry, I can't think of any other famous deaf people.
Beethoven, wasn't he deaf? Or wait, no, he was... Wait.
I think he was deaf, I think.
Maybe
Bach, I don't know.
I don't know. I know a lot of blind people, not too many. Yeah. Not too many deaf people.
I almost said Ray Charles, but like he can hear.
He can hear. In a 4.5 star review from Julie River of punknews.org says, where Revolution Radio was devoid of soul, Father of All Motherfuckers is absolutely bursting with soul, sometimes literally. Ending the review with Father of All Motherfuckers is a danceable, feel-good pop album with some really stellar songwriting, and after the impotent Revolution Radio and the ludicrous Uno Dos Tres trilogy, seeing Green Day branch out a bit and succeed at something different is refreshing. It's a sign of artists with a great deal of range and imagination who are far from done surprising us. And
I think the only person with a great deal of imagination is this reviewer.
Oh yeah, fuck it. Okay, so I just want to point out that the same reviewer gave Enema of the State in a retrospective review 3.5 stars. They gave Father of All Motherfuckers a whole star better than Enema of the fucking State. Yes. Like, I know taste is subjective, but like if you're... And most of her reviews were of pop punk, like, alt-rock albums, so very much in this wheelhouse. It's like, if you're a fucking fan of pop punk and you think that this is better than Enema of the fucking State? Like, what?
Well, I mean, they can't really be compared because one is a pop punk album and the other is a garbage fire that was released to the public.
It's a garage rock revival 20 years later album. More like
garage rock is I would argue the one genre we don't need a revival of.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because after seeing that, I was like, I have to. And she said that Warning was her favorite Green Day album, which respectable.
Respectable.
Yeah. But I'm like, just what the fuck? Like, how can you say that?
I am
probably like
flabbergasted.
Enema of the State, I would say with Dookie are like either could be number one for the best and most influential pop punk album.
Enema of the State's the one with Carousel, right?
No. That's their first album, Buddha. Sorry, Enema of the State has fucking All the Small Things, What's My Age Again.
Okay, cool.
Adam Song, Dumpweed.
The problem is I get Enema of the State and Take Off Your Pants and Jackets like conflated with each other. Because like I said, I'm not into this era of pop punk as much. It just all kind of blends together.
Yeah, Carousel.
It's all really good.
First album.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like okay, we're not talking about them. They haven't released a bad album that we're talking about yet.
Yeah, that we're talking about yet. But yeah, that just fucking boggled my mind. I was like, how, like I said, music is subjective, but how the fuck?
There are some facts about music, and one of them is that this is not a 4.5-star album.
Yeah, and
you can like this album and know it's not a 4.5-star album.
I mean, you can fucking give it 4.5 stars for all I care, but don't rate it higher than Enema of the State. Like, what? All right, getting past that. Between the juvenile and uninspired songwriting and lyrics, mockery of an iconic album artwork, and general regression in all aspects, the album didn't stand much of a chance to be welcomed into the hearts of Green Day diehards. The eye-roll-inducing promotion of the album worsened the sour taste the album left in everyone's mouth with, here, get this, there were billboards advertising the album with the statement, no features, no Swedish songwriters, no trap beats, 100% pure, uncut rock. Hell yeah, brother.
This is very, like...
Boomer.
Not only is
boomer
it boomer, it's
energy.
another thing that has recently come back into the cultural minds with the whole... I'm not even going to say his name. The piece of shit who was arrested in Romania. I'm not going to fucking say his name. I'm not going to give him the fucking platform.
I have no idea who you're talking... Huh?
I'll tell you after.
Okay.
But
I'm utterly confused.
we are seeing a rise of pick-me-ass people.
Mm.
And that is the most pick-me-ass thing I've ever fucking heard.
Yeah, that's just... like, and it's just kind of... It's disappointing because, here, let me go to this. This is in my notes. Yeah, this... Which I hadn't heard this quote before. Looking at, going through, doing the research for all their albums, this was said about American Idiot. Billy Joe said that they let contemporary music influence them in the making of American Idiot, including rappers Eminem, Kanye West, as well as Linkin Park. Armstrong considered rock music a conservative business with regard to the rigidity in which a band must release a single, create a music video, or head out on tour. He felt groups like the hip-hop duo Outkast were kicking rock's ass because there's so much ambition. So it's like, for you to say that about, at the time, being like, yeah, rock, it's too conservative, like, too many people stuck in their ways, we need to get influence, do our own thing, get influence from hip-hop, and then for 14 years down the road, or however long, to be like, no trap beats, pure uncut rock, like...
It's
like, what the fuck?
Awful.
It's like, that's literally so...
Grow the fuck up.
I know, that's so hypocritical. I don't know. It's like, come on. It's like you guys have never been ones to do what is expected of you. You sold out, quote unquote. You incorporated all these different styles, and it's like for you to be shitting on the trends of music and to be like, we're not, it's just, what the fuck?
And unfortunately, this is them doing what's not expected of them in the worst way possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, nobody expected a trash fire.
Yeah.
We expected at least an album that is listenable.
Yeah, exactly. And then, God, this is even more fucking cringe. Before the album, Billy Joe posted on Green Day's social media saying, "This record is the new!" Soul, Motown, glam, and manic anthemic. Like what? That sentence ends there.
That just ends there?
Well, I mean, there's more, but that's like...
Manic anthemic.
Like what? You just listed genres and manic anthemic, period.
There's a full stop there.
Punks, freaks, and punishers. And the way this is, you know, I can't really convey it on the podcast, but the way, like, I copied it down in my notes, exactly how it was posted on the Facebook. It's just like a cut up of, like, it looks
this
like...
This is the ramblings of a madman.
It's the ramblings of a fucking 65-year-old woman on Facebook who posts Minion memes. Like this is how boomers like
you will not take my granddaughter.
But yeah, the dirty, messy, the stink.
That is an accurate description of the album. It is the dirty, messy, the stink.
I like how the stink is capitalized. The lyrics are like a party and lifestyle of not giving a fuck. The life and death of the party. Not political. Surviving in chaos. The real shit. Me, Mike, and Trey of the Green Day.
The Green Day. They're like a fucking boomer talking about Kroger's.
I shit you not. I literally copied and pasted this. This is exactly how it was fucking posted.
I didn't think that I could lose more respect for them.
The Green Day. That reminds me of fucking Finn McKenty, Punk Rock NBA, how he says he likes making people mad by calling lead singers of bands the name of the band. Like, saying, like, oh yeah, I ran into Green Day at the airport today. He was a cool guy. That shit's so funny to me. But yeah, the Green Day. Cut through the bullshit. That's how it's always been for us. Everything else is fake. Frauds, I tell ya. Rock has lost its balls. We're gonna teabag all these motherfuckers. I can't with this. Reading it out loud is even fucking worse.
Oh my god, are we ready for the fucking track by track? I can't listen to any more of his quotes.
The baddest rock band on the planet that gives a shit. Glorious or glorious anarchy seems to be the word that keeps coming up that reflects. And then all of this is each, you know, it's each its own line. Dancing, tribalism, anxiety, joy, violence, drugs, booze, dangerous songs for dangerous kids.
Why did he just start doing a shopping list at the end?
Eggs, milk, cheese,
drugs, ghost.
Fucking on SpongeBob, where he's trying to hold up the shopping. And then our motto? Question mark? Nothing says "fuck you" like a unicorn. Love and kisses, Billy. I fucking can't. I can't. Like, what? I don't.
I hate that.
I hate it so much. Oh, man. Okay, well, we're done with that. Recently, the band has teased a new studio album with a possible release this year. Presumed to be titled 1972, a reference to the year all three band members were born. We can only hope it will be better than whatever the fuck this was supposed to be. So, yeah. Now let's get into a track by track after having that quote dropped on you. Nothing says "fuck you" like a unicorn, brother.
So
fuck
yeah. The title track, which for some reason has an ellipses at the end. I don't know why they felt they need to add that.
Wait, does it?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's Father of all ... It's like
yeah.
It's like a fucking grand. Okay, never mind. I see now the album has the ... I just didn't.
Well, I think it's because motherfuckers is censored.
Okay, cool.
I think it's in place for the censoring.
So Father of All is literally just Blue Orchid by the White Stripes. If the song made you wish that an electric guitar was not something that had ever been invented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. But the intro riff and drum pattern is literally exactly Fire by Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. It literally is the same. It's even the fucking drums where it's like...
Yeah.
You know?
It's possibly the least inspired rock song I've ever heard.
Yeah, and... Goddamn, I'm so glad he did not fucking do this on the rest of the album. The high-pitched vocals he does. For the verses, Jesus fucking Christ. Like...
That's like it's the White Stripes thing.
I know, but it's... God, I'm so glad. Like, this would have been even worse if he did that again. I was so glad that he didn't do that. It's just so... It sounds like this song sounds like a local car dealership couldn't afford the rights to Feel It Still by Portugal the Man. You know that song?
Yeah.
Like, he does the same exact vocals. So they hired a mediocre band to write a song for their commercial. Like,
that's Ted Russell Nissan for you.
Yeah, they got it going on. But yeah, literally, it sounds like car commercial music. Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, a lot of this album does, but I feel like this,
Yeah.
and then we'll get to the other song that I think does. But it's just like, what the fuck? But I mean, when he sings normal in the choruses, the song I will
like he's
admit
still a talented musician.
he's like, I got paranoia, baby. Like,
yeah,
it's not bad.
It's not the worst.
Yeah, like that's one of the.
It's not great.
Yeah, but I mean, the chorus for this song is probably one of the best.
It's one of the good parts of the album. Fire, Ready, Aim.
I don't know.
The chorus is a little catchy.
Yeah, I mean, this song's not bad. I don't have a lot to say. It's I'd say it's out of all the songs on the album, it's the most similar to stuff Green Day's done in the past.
The problem is the intro guitar is some of the worst guitar I've ever heard.
Well, I can't recall it, but
I can't recall it right now because it's been a while since I've looked. And it was just I mean,
if you wrote it down, then I believe
I wrote it. It was terrible. The vocal melody is too simplistic to have any sort of like redeeming qualities or bad. Like, it can't be bad, but it can't be good because there's not much substance.
Yeah, I had to listen to this one a bunch of times because
I think I listened to this one the most.
It's also really short, and I feel like for me the vocals were really low in the mix compared to the other songs. I couldn't really tell what he was saying.
Yeah, it's kind of just a big fucking chorus.
Yeah, there's
no substance here.
Yeah, did you know it was the official theme song for the NHL in 2020? Did you know that? I mean, it makes sense. I guess.
I mean, I fucking guess, but they would have been better off just continuing with Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, continuing with Limp Bizkit.
I just assume that the NHL plays the nookie at every game.
I did it all for the nookie. Yeah, the nookie.
Oh yeah, is the first song on the album that could be salvaged. I think you can salvage. Oh yeah.
You think so?
Other than the chorus, I think you can salvage it. It's kind of just pumped up kicks, but with less lyrical content.
Okay. Yeah, it samples a Joan Jett song.
Oh, okay.
A Joan Jett cover of a Gary Glitter song. Do you know who?
Gary Glitter?
You don't know who that is?
Do I want to?
No, you do not, but I'll tell you anyway.
Oh my god, why?
He was a glam rock artist in the 70s who had like, I guess, like a pretty big cult following. Like he was.
Oh, so he's like a friend of the pod, Lou Reed.
Friend of the pod. But I mean, he was a pretty popular music figure in the 70s. But at some time in the 90s, he took his computer for repair at a computer shop, and child porn was found on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the band was pretty criticized for. I mean, even though it's a Joan Jett cover, that's still kind of.
Yeah, I mean, there is separating the art from the artist, and then there's pedophiles.
Yeah, which I mean, they did something like donated a lot of money to some sort of foundation for protecting. It was something like that, but it was after they got the criticism from it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, you know, you could claim, you know, like what's the word for it? Just unknowing.
Yeah, it could be ignorance, but also
claim ignorance, but also, I mean, if you're being inspired by glam rock to make this album, like, you fucking know who Gary Glitter is.
You are also like alive when that happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sure they listened to that when they were fucking kids. So, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got from it. Like you said, I mean, it's not a god awful song.
It's not a good song either.
Yeah,
Meet Me on the Roof.
On the Roof, brother.
This is an Arctic Monkeys song. This is just the Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
Except for the fucking sock hop ass part.
Sock hop.
Meet me on the roof tonight. Yeah, it's just fucking 50s diner roof shit.
Yeah.
50 diners music.
Diners roof.
This is a song from Greece.
Yeah, this would be in a jukebox at your local diner. And okay, at this point of the album, I have to say, how many fucking have to be in a fucking album?
Listen, we only need clapping in one song, and it's you. Sorry, you're not the winner by Inner Shikari. That's it.
It's literally in every fucking song.
Yeah.
Except the only one that I'm not entirely sure that it's in is Fire Ready Aim.
Yeah.
It still might be.
I think it is. It either is or the snare does the same thing. But it's the same rhythm, the da-da-da, da-da-da.
But other than that song, it's so pertinent throughout the entire fucking album. Like, every fucking song on this album has a clapping part. Why?
I think at some point I just started ignoring it, which is why they're not in my notes.
Yeah, like, it just...
Because now that you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, you're right, but I didn't fucking connect the dots.
It just stuck out to me, because I knew that, you know, a lot of this album is very derivative and formulaic, so after I noticed it in a couple of songs, I had to go back, and I was like, I need to keep track of every song that does this to point it out. And it's every fucking song. Literally like, every song.
I understand the want to have a nice clapping rhythm.
I mean,
in your
especially
song.
for a garage rock. But I mean,
but that is something like you have in your song. You have like one song, and then you do it at live concerts.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like a live, like, oh look, we have this cool da 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 that you can do to every song live. Yeah. But like, don't fucking record it.
I know, it's in every fucking song.
Do you think they wanted to do other clap rhythms, but they ran out of money to record the professional clappers?
Professional clappers. I mean, probably. They just went to their
local chapter of the fucking clapping guild.
Clapping guild. I was gonna say their local golf course is golf claps.
You know, this is one guy that just wanted to yell "fuck" the whole time.
But yeah, I mean, "Meet Me on the Roof," another shitty song with bad lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, the sock hop part is kind of catchy, and there's a pretty nice drum fill. I do remember that.
Okay. I mean, like that one review said, like, none of this album's performances per se are awful.
It's just, I mean, the writing is the problem.
Yeah, like, none of it's noteworthy, none of it's exceptional, I would say, but
it's derivative. It lacks substance.
Yeah, and I will say, much to my dismay, like, once you listen to it, the songs get stuck in your head.
Yes.
I was literally after the fourth time, maybe, like after I got all my notes done and didn't have to listen to it anymore, it was stuck in my head all this entire past week. Every single song on this album, at least one part from every song, got stuck in my fucking head.
Yeah, it's incredibly catchy.
I was like, God damn it. Which, I mean, Green Day is known for making very catchy songs, so I've been kind of on a little Green Day binge recently of listening to
try to get that
their good albums. Yeah, to get the good songs stuck in my head, because I could not fucking take it. Like, how many times in my head can I hear "Meet Me on the Roof Tonight"? Like,
ooh, 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 ooh.
Especially, "Take the Money and Crawl" and "Junkies on a High" kept getting stuck. I don't know why. Those two kept getting stuck in my head for some reason.
Yeah.
And it was only one part from every song. Like, I couldn't recall. I mean, it's mostly just the chorus.
Yeah, I don't remember most of any of these songs, but I remember the "Ready, Aim, Firefighter, Ready, Aim."
Yeah, whatever.
Fire, Ready, Aim. Like,
yeah, so.
I was a teenager. Unfortunately, to my dismay, this is my favorite song on the album.
Okay.
To my fucking dismay. It breaks my heart to admit that.
Your achy breaky heart?
Yeah, the lyrics are terrible. I don't know who they were trying to pander to. But I just constantly in my head, it's like, I don't want to scare, like, what is it? I don't want to do, but I cannot lie.
Oh, it's like,
who's hiding the drugs?
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's like woo woo in the background, the little organ.
Yeah, like it's really catchy. This whole song is catchy.
Okay, it really reminds me, especially the chorus, like I was a teenager. Like the way he says it reminds me of the Ramones a lot.
I think it also
just a slowed down.
I think it might also supposed to be a play off of "I Was a Teenage Anarchist" by
Yeah, that was pointed out by Against Me.
Against Me, yeah,
that was pointed out, and I was reading on Genius or something that was pointed out. That, I mean,
because like
source of it, but they've toured with Green Day before. Green Day supported Against Me before, so.
It's like it's not the same vocal melody, but "I was a teenager" as opposed to like, "I was a teenage anarchist."
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're kind of in the same vein.
Okay. I haven't listened to that song in a very long while, but...
The solo of Teenager, though.
I don't
If you want to fucking call it...
I don't even remember.
Well, I'll give you a hint. You know the chorus? Imagine if the guitar played that instead of him singing it.
I mean,
that's it. No, that's the whole thing.
I mean, Green Day has done that a lot, but
they usually add a little bit.
Worked.
They usually add a little bit.
Yeah.
There's nothing added. Like, usually, I'm fine. I like solos where they take a part of the vocal melody and use that, but then they go into something, like, that's in the same vein, but maybe a little faster, maybe more guitar solo. It's not. It's just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I mean, the song is literally the same word for word, same exact verse twice, and a chorus 3 times with the little solo, quote unquote, between the last 2 choruses. So it's literally word for word the same verse twice, same chorus 3 times.
I mean, it's like this song, like this album is very repetitive in its songs.
It is,
and that's why they're so catchy.
Yeah, I guess so. And then "Stab You in the Heart." This is my favorite song on the album. I'll have to say, I feel like this is the song that definitely sounds like it could have came from Dose, and in turn is the one that sounds the most how Billy described the album of being. I feel like this is the most garage rock.
I think it's more of a blues song.
I mean,
it's just.
I mean, it's like a 12-bar blues.
Yeah, it is 12 bar.
Yeah,
blues. It's not like it literally is the 12 bars blues.
Yeah, so
this is something that I learned to play on guitar 10 years ago when I got my guitar for the first fucking time.
Yeah, I mean,
I could play this song 10 years ago before it was released.
But I mean, I
the solo is pretty good.
Yeah,
solo's pretty good.
It's
not a bad song.
Yeah, it's not at all. It sounds really similar, which a bunch of people have pointed this out, to "Fuck Time." Like, "Fuck Time" is also just a 12-bar blues song.
I mean, you can only do solos with 12 bars.
And it has like that surf rock-esque guitar line, like the. But yeah, pretty decent solo. I mean, it's my favorite song on the album. Which isn't saying much. I'm not going to go out of my way to listen to it, but
yeah, like I've never listened. I was a teenager again.
If I had to pick the rainbow unicorn shit out of the shit pile, then this would be it.
Yeah. Sugar Youth is simply the worst Ramones song you have ever heard.
The worst Ramones song?
That's what this is.
I would say it's the most pop punk song on that. Like, it has the most punk drive to it.
Yeah, but it's also one of the most uninspired songs on the album.
Did you catch that it has a part that is in the chorus that's exactly the same cadence as "She's a Rebel" from American Idiot?
No.
You didn't catch that? As soon as I heard it,
I started checking out in this song because it was so boring.
Yeah. As soon as I heard it, I was like, wait, hold up. And I went to YouTube, and of course everybody else points that shit out. But yeah, when he says, "Got the shakes, and I'm on fire, got a feeling, and it's dangerous," is exactly like "She's a rebel, she's a saint.
You're right. You know,
she's a salt of the earth.
I heard that, I've heard this somewhere before, but I don't know where I've heard it.
Yeah,
but,
he says dangerous in both songs the exact same way. It's the same cadence.
But this song is boring. Like, the most boring song on Lulu was more interesting than this song.
Oh, God.
And the most boring song on Lulu was 10 minutes long. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main thing I got from it. I was like, I mean, there's songs in Green Day's back catalog that will sound similar to previously released songs by them. I mean, that's going to happen with any band. But that was exactly the same fucking chorus from "She's a Rebel." But Junkies on a High, you made a comparison to Arctic Monkeys earlier. This song for me, everything I said about Father of All, how it sounds like you took Portugal the Man, Feel It Still, and had a shitty band cover it for a car commercial. That's that, or this song is that, but instead it's AM by the Arctic Monkeys. Like, any song off of AM by the Arctic Monkeys, this song is exactly like that.
I have a different comparison for this song, actually. Okay. I'm going to read you verbatim what I put in my notes. This is just a rapless 21 Pilots song, in parentheses, negatively.
Negatively? Yeah, I could see it being similar to 21 Pilots.
Because it kind of has like a little bit of a hip-hop influence sound to it.
I mean, that's kind of
which is really funny with the fucking billboard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's... that's kind of why it reminds me of anything, like, especially... I think it's "Are You Mine" from AM by the Arctic Monkeys that has that, like, boom, boom.
Yeah, the 808s.
Yeah, like the beat to it. Like this song has that, and yeah, that's pretty ironic.
I could just see fucking what's his name from 21 Pilots coming in and talking about his car radio for another 3 minutes.
But a bunch of people, which I didn't catch this myself. I first heard it. Fantano said it on his review, but a bunch of people in the comments have said it that it sounds like Boulevard of Broken Dreams in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fantano said that it sounds like if you got someone to cover Boulevard of Broken Dreams that hadn't heard it since it came out and didn't hear that until last night. Oh wait, what the fuck? I completely fucked that up. That someone that hadn't heard it since it came out, and yeah, I didn't hear that until I went back and listened to it, and I was like, what the fuck? It sounds exactly like it.
Yeah, it also has those piano stings in it that are both out of place, but also barely mixed in. Like, they're so low.
Like the synth part?
Yeah, it's just like the piano
It sounds
sting.
like fucking Still Dre.
Yeah.
You know,
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like.
Well, but like exactly. They're mixed so low you can barely tell they're there sometimes, but they're still distracting. And it's weird that it's both distracting and barely there. And the vocals are like this whole album. This is the only time I think I actually put it in my notes. The vocals are fucking overproduced.
They are. Like
the only person who has more auto-tune on their vocals is T-Pain. I don't think there's auto-tune. There's just so much compression. It doesn't sound like a person is singing sometimes.
Okay, Take the Money and Crawl.
Not half bad.
Yeah. The main riff, it sounds exactly like, do you know Blue by Nirvana off of Bleach?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the main riff for this song sounds exactly like the chorus riff and the vocal cadence of Blue by Nirvana. It's like it's literally the same exact thing.
If you told me that, hey, Jack White wrote one of the instrumentals on this album, this is the one I would have picked out.
Really?
It sounds like an unreleased, like an instrumental that Jack White wrote. He's like, this isn't good enough to do anything with. You guys fucking want this?
I can see that. But yeah, I also didn't notice until I wore headphones listening to this, like, you know, both of them.
Yeah.
But on the you know how he's like, take the money and crawl. There's like a weird glitch effect on his vocals in that.
Okay.
It's very odd. Like it sounds almost like it wasn't even intentional.
Weird.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's like like it sounds like somebody was taking his vocal mix and like shifting it back and forth while he was saying it.
Mike Shinoda in the studio, like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense within the context of this album. I don't know why the fuck they did that.
There's a little bit of lead guitar that was cool, but it was buried in the mix. Like a lot of like garage rock, this album's mixed pretty fucking poorly.
It is. And then the last track, Graffitia.
Okay, the intro progression is literally Beer for My Horses.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is 100% Beer for My Horses.
Just you said the progression of what?
The intro progression.
Is it an intro?
And the verse is kind of Beer for My Horses like too.
I can't even think of how the intro starts. The only part I can really recall from this is the chorus.
I can't pull it out from my head.
You can't pull it out.
Like, I'll show you after we're done recording. I'll fucking show you.
Okay. A lot of people, which I thought this too when I first heard it. It sounds similar to I Fought the Law by The Clash.
Yeah.
And also people pointed out it sounds like I think it's Money Money by Billy Idol. You know the song that's like I said yeah. It's I fucking watched. Have you ever seen? This is a side note, but have you ever seen Fargo?
No.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I watched it for the first time the other night, and everybody in it takes place in Fargo, North Dakota, and then also in somewhere in Minnesota, I think. But so everybody in it has a very heightened Midwestern accent.
Yeah.
So they'll just be talking and they'll be on a phone call or something. They'll just be like, yeah.
Yeah, so they sound like Bobby's mom from Bobby's World.
Yeah, pretty much. Or fucking sometimes there was this one dude, one of the cops sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was like, yeah.
So funny.
Like, what the fuck?
So Graffitia, like, it has both a chorus and what I would kind of call a refrain, which are different musically, which a lot of people like.
Yeah.
There's no reason to know that for most people, but like the chorus, forgettable. The refrain, which is like the slower piano, like the slower part, it's a little more interesting. I wish they would have explored that sound more on this album instead of Jack White.
Yeah, this one's kind of... to me, it seems like they're trying to achieve something that could kind of belong on American Idiot or 21st Century Breakdown.
It sounds like it feels kind of like they're trying to do the whole here's a song that can be split into 5 parts thing that they did twice on American Idiot.
But I mean, I think it's the longest song on the album, but
it's still only
like 3.5 minutes.
I think it's 4 minutes.
Maybe. Yeah. But it does kind of like is kind of split into separate parts.
Yeah, but like
a little
you really need 9 minutes to do something like that.
Yeah, and it's also the only song on the album that has any lyrics that aren't just cringe. I mean, I'm not saying they're good lyrics, but they're not just basic cringe filler.
They're at least you can tell that he at least like tried to write something.
Yeah, there's a concept
credible.
to it.
Yeah,
apparently it was something about. Here, wait. Let me go to Genius actually for this because I would not have known this if I didn't look it up on Genius. It says it is about Rust Belt factories in the 80s getting closed and about black kids getting shot by Chicagoan police officers due to prejudice. So
important things to talk about. Okay. Well, the Rust factors, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't.
But I mean, that's
probably poor working conditions.
Yeah, but I mean, that's literally nothing like anything else that's on this album. Everything else is just like, oh yeah, I was a teenager.
Yeah, everything else is just like 18-year-old party music.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it also has a really weird honky-tonk sounding piano come in around the 2 minutes. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It sounded like some Leonard Skinner fucking piano. I was like, okay, I don't see how this belongs on the song.
You keep Leonard Skinner's name out of this fucking thing.
Leonard Skinner. Did you see that Gary... Is it Gary Rossington?
I don't know.
The only remaining original member died.
Oh, damn.
About a week ago, yeah.
That sucks.
I think it's Gary Rossington, the guitarist.
Isn't that the guy who, like, crawled on a broken leg and almost got shot by a farmer?
Maybe, I don't know, but I know that I know he was one of the guitarists, and I think he was because they had like fucking 3 guitarists. Yeah, I think he was the only one left of the original members,
okay,
and he passed away about a week ago. Yeah, but yeah, hell yeah, Skinner brother. Yeah, I mean,
his album is fucking terrible. I have 2 lyrics that I would like to point out as being particularly off the wall and bad.
You want to get to the bad lyrics first before our favorites and least favorites? We can go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we can do favorites and least favorites. My favorite,
okay,
Teenager. My least favorite, the rest of the fucking album.
All right, I can't be mad at that. I got 3 favorites, which
that had to be hard.
Yeah, that's used very loosely because, like I said, Stab You in the Heart is the only one I would consider a favorite, quote unquote. The other ones, Fire, Ready, Aim, and Take the Money and Crawl, are, to me, the 2 other least offensive songs on this album.
I mean, Fire, Ready, Aim doesn't have time to be offensive.
Yeah.
It's like a minute and a half.
Yeah, but if I had to pick 3 songs on this album to like be forced to listen to for the rest of my life every fucking day, it would be these 3. And then my worst songs, which again is used loosely because about everything else on the album could be in the worst 3 for me, but Junkies on a High, Graffitia, and Meet Me on the Roof, I don't know.
Except for the sock hop part of Meet Me on the Roof. That is actually the most... That is weirdly the most...
on the roof tonight.
That's weirdly the most interesting part of the album.
But yeah, those all of my favorites and least favorites are not. I mean, you know, my favorites aren't anything noteworthy. My least favorites aren't any worse than any of the other bad parts of the album. It's just if I had to pick 3 for each one.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't even try to pick.
Yeah, respectable.
Well, speaking of Meet Me on the Roof, that is where my first notable lyric comes from.
Okay.
I'm hanging with the cholos.
That's literally my first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, did I hear that fucking right?
Me too. I was like, did this man literally just say cholos in a fucking song? Like, what?
I don't think you can say that, Billy Joe. I think it's a little, like, racially charged.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Hopefully not, because we just said it, but...
Well, I was quoting him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a slur.
Yeah, but I don't know, I'm hanging out with the cholo, like, yeah, sure, I'm sure you've hung out with Latino gang members,
You're
Billy.
at the sock hop. hanging out with the cholos. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I mean,
good for you. Cool, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure maybe back in the early days of Green Day, that was a
Yeah,
possibility.
I'm sure he was hanging out with some pretty rough people.
You know, there were some
Maybe
little
not
punks living on the streets, but
maybe
now,
not at the sock hop.
Yeah, it's like now you're a 50-year-old man.
A 50-year-old multi-millionaire.
Yeah, I don't think you're hanging out with cholos. But yeah, I'm hanging out with the cholos, cruising down the strip, sleeping on a pillow, waking up and spit. Like, okay.
Cool.
Like,
understandable. Have a great.
I guess he just went on a fucking bender and woke up at the sock hop. Okay.
I mean, hey, if I was on the bender and I woke up at like 4 p.m., I'd go to the fucking sock hop and get a burger and a milkshire.
Yeah.
We've said sock hop more times in this episode than I've ever said in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a teenager. I am alien visitor. My life's a mess, and school is just for sucker.
I also got something from teenager, and it's the first line of every course, which is, I was a teenager, full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah. Full of piss and vinegar.
Which, like, I guess what he's trying to say is that he's been drinking shitty wine.
I guess.
Because, like, shitty wine is basically vinegar.
Yeah, but...
I don't know.
Just him saying school is just for suckers. It's like, okay. It's like,
I mean,
my brother in Christ, you dropped out of school at like age 16 to be in a band.
And you got lucky.
Yeah.
I only know one other person who got that lucky, and it's the banjo player for Hank the Third and Hank the Fourth.
Okay.
Like, he dropped out of school to go tour Europe with Hank the Third, so like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But like most people, hey kids, important message from me and also Sam Eagle from the Muppets: stay in school.
Don't do school. Stay in drugs.
Delete the gym. Hit your wife.
Oh God.
A divorce Facebook.
All right, you got another lyric?
No, I just had those two.
Oh, okay.
Everything else was like so uninspired and boring.
Yeah, I got a few more. I got from Sugar Youth, like a high school loser that will never ever ever fuck the prom queen. Okay.
Cool. Why are you 50 years old talking about a prom queen? That's a little sus, Billy.
That's a little sus. And then also from Sugar Youth, I want to drink all the poison in the water. I want to choke like a dog that's on a collar. I am the child of coyote and banditos. I'm drinking whiskey by the river doing yayo.
He really wants to be part of Latin culture.
Oh yeah, like what?
He's
like
white, right?
Cholos, banditos.
He's like really, really white, right? He's not like maybe mixed somewhere that I don't know about.
I don't think so. I feel like maybe I'm not gonna say he's any part Hispanic. I want to say maybe his father has like Eastern European ancestry.
Okay,
maybe?
so like spicy white.
Don't quote me on that. I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if
Oh wait. Okay, here we go.
I'm on Wikipedia.
His great grandparents were Italian immigrants.
Okay.
Okay, so he's like probably 25% Italian. So no.
Yeah. I mean, he grew up in rodeo. No, in rodeo.
Rodeo. Okay.
Oh, okay. I read that as rodeo culture.
Rodeo.
Okay, so it's not rodeo culture. I get it. Rodeo. That's just a city, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure living in California, he was around a
yeah,
bunch
I'm
of
sure.
Latin culture, but
like,
that doesn't mean you're part of it. That doesn't mean you're part coyote and bandito. Like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah, I just like how he said doing yayo. Like anyone under the age of 30 calls cocaine yayo.
I don't even know what the fuck that meant.
You never heard that before?
No.
Really?
Listen, I don't think about the names.
You just do it?
Yep.
Alright, and then I got from Junkies on a High, my pride is my pornography, Kool-Aid's my motto, oh yeah.
How did I miss that?
Yeah.
It's the vocals are so overproduced and so low in the mix. It's really hard. And like I didn't feel like combing through Genius for this whole fucking album to find stuff. So I just got the two things that I actually caught.
Yeah, I heard on my own, I heard Kool-Aid's my motto, and I was thinking, that's cringy enough on its own. Like, what does that even mean? I kind of perceived it as drinking the Kool, like the metaphor drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, maybe.
I was like, I don't really know what this means, but then I looked on Genius, and I saw that it says "oh yeah" after it, so he's literally saying Kool-Aid is his motto. Oh yeah, like the Kool-Aid man breaking through the fucking wall. Like, okay.
And perfectly, that lyric leads me to my final opinion on the album.
Wait, I got one more.
You got
for
one
you.
more?
Yeah, I got 6 for this one instead of 5.
God damn! Wow.
This one's pretty straightforward. From "Take the Money and Crawl." So you can take a walk, or you can suck my cock. Did you not catch that either?
No.
I heard that the first time I heard it. He's just like, so you can take a walk, or you can suck my cock. I was like,
what the fuck, Billy?
I mean, I'd rather take the money and crawl, but okay.
Holy fuck. So the references that nobody under the age of 30 would get really leads me to believe that this is an album that is pandering to nobody that has ever existed or will ever exist.
Yeah, the only people that I could see enjoying this album are
divorced dads.
Yeah, and very hardcore fans of Green Day, like even more hardcore than I am.
Like if you have Billy Joe's signature tattooed on your forehead, you're gonna fucking love this shit. But you already know that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Even then, I mean, a lot of hardcore Green Day fans hate this. It's just, I mean, I guess the ones that think they can do no wrong. I mean, you know, there's a subset of every fan base that thinks that they can do no wrong and everything they do is gold. So.
People love when their favorite band releases a bad album because then they have more to defend.
Yeah, exactly.
And like people feel like they're useful when they're defending an album that's bad.
Yeah, but yeah, and then the YouTube comments, there was a lot of people like, "Oh my god, this is so great," and it was all, you could tell it was all like 12, 13-year-old kids.
Who had never heard something like this before.
Yeah.
Because they weren't alive yet.
Yeah, and there was also a lot of, like, comments from European people. Because you could tell they were either talking in different languages or just had, like, you know, like their profile gave it away. And I feel like European people are more forgiving when it comes to music for some reason.
Well, they had that big bubblegum pop phase, which unfortunately we can't talk about because most of those albums did pretty good.
Yeah, but it's always weird to me. I feel like when there's a shitty album or song by a band, the only people that are praising it are
Eastern Europe and Brazil.
Yeah, that's pretty much what all the comments that were like. It was just like, so amazing, go Green Day, rock on, with the devil horns.
Good for them for finding something good in these albums.
I mean, yeah, if I'm not gonna.
It's just, I mean, like they
just don't rate it better than Enema of the State.
Yeah, but
don't do that.
Honestly, without Europe and South America, I don't think that we would have gotten thrash as big as we did.
Yeah,
they probably kept those bands alive for a few years until they hit the mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big metal scene in Eastern Europe, like bands that haven't been popular in America for 20 years do it fucking big over there.
They do it in Europe and South America.
Yeah, so we can thank them for that, but. Metacritic, the Metascore was 68% on 25 reviews from critics, which
it's a little high.
Fucking high. User score was 4.7 out of 215 reviews.
It's 4.7 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank God.
Oh yeah, no, not out of fucking 5.
I was like, this can't be 5.
No, but I'd give it 3 out of 10.
1.5.
1.5.
1.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I give it. If we're going percentages, I give it a solid 17%.
17%. Okay. Yeah, it was hard for me because I was, I would rather, because so far what we've covered, the only albums we've outright fucking hated have been this and Lulu. And I would rather listen to this than Lulu.
Well, it's a lot shorter.
It's a lot shorter. I would probably go back to Lulu first just to listen to the really funny parts.
Yeah.
But I would say, I don't know, I guess, because I think I gave Lulu like 1.5 or a 2. I would have to rate this a little higher just because, like I said, I mean, to my dismay, it was catchy.
It was really catchy, but like, it wasn't trying anything new, and I think without originality, you don't get a good score. Mm-hmm. As opposed to Lulu, which, while it failed, was original, was trying new things.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So I think I gave them a little bit of extra credit for like trying for Lulu.
Yeah, I think it's important to say though that this was the last record for their contract on Reprise Records. So there's kind of a theory that they just pumped out the fastest piece of shit.
I fucking hope so.
I mean, think about it. The album's fucking 26 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, what album? I think, isn't it the lowest that you can make an album before, or the shortest you can make an album before it's considered an EP is like 25 minutes, probably?
I think it's 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Okay.
Because I'm
it's like
pretty
they
sure...
barely went above the threshold for what's considered an album.
Maybe it's 25. I don't know, but yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so we can only hope that
it's garbage.
Yeah. Because I think their next album is being self-produced.
Cool, and they have plenty of money for that.
Yeah, so maybe they just were like, fuck it, let's just put out what the fuck ever.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Does this deserve one last breath?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Fuck no. Let it drown.
Yeah, let it... I'll fucking push this shit into the deep end and do a pile driver tombstone on top of this fucking album.
You're gonna hit with the Stone Cold Stunner, and you're gonna drown about it.
Yeah, I can't say I recommend this to anyone.
Not a single person.
Not a single person.
Unless, actually, there is one person that I do think this album is for.
Who?
And it's for Jack White fans who wish that he had a bad album for them to defend, because Jack White has not released a bad album. So, if you're like, yeah, this is the bad Jack White album, no one's gonna know it's Green Day. No one's gonna believe it's Green Day.
I can't say I've listened to any Jack White solo. Are you talking solo albums or just
his career in general?
Okay,
solo stuff. The
Ranticores,
the White Stripes.
Okay.
Never misses.
I mean, I think I've only maybe heard a White Stripe album, like maybe 2 of them in full. So I can't really speak on any of that, but I mean, I would say if this was one of his albums, this would be his worst for sure. So yeah, I could point that out as a bad Jack White album.
Well, thank you for listening to One Last Breath. We will see you next week with...
It's
something.
It's something, yeah. See you next week.